In today's video, we're gonna be talking about color matching for mature skin, talking about skin tone, undertone, and then the one area, the one tone that is often left out of the equation, overtone. So if that sounds like something that's interested to you, let's do it. When you get a color match from me, you're gonna fill out more questions than you would have expected because I want to get you the outcome that you're looking for. And everybody's looking for something different. Some people wanna match their neck, some people wanna match their chest. As we age, typically our face and our chest are darker than our neck because our face covers our neck while we're getting sun, so it's lighter as the rest of our face and our chest start to get a little bit of discoloration with age spots and sunspots and different things like that. And people want their makeup to perform differently and they want it to look differently. So I ask you to fill out a more extensive color match than most because my goal is to get you the outcome that you're looking for. I'm an educator by trade. I love teaching this because I want people to achieve the confidence level that I did once I figured out what worked for me. Is my way the only way? No. Do I think my way works really well for people that are dealing with color concern as it relates to Seint Makeup? Yes. And that's because I look at three things. I look at your undertone. Our undertone stays the same like forever, okay? So typically your undertone, and I have eye makeup on right now, but you can tell where your undertone is by looking at the lightest points of your face, which typically are going to be in areas like under the brow, around the mouth, sometimes even the side of the cheek. So I am asking you to take a photo in front of a window. Right now I am sitting in front of a window. And the photo is everything, okay? You wanna be facing the window, no makeup on except eye makeup, no overhead lighting because you'll see this cast shadows. And if you have lighting behind you, your shadow's gonna come from behind and it's gonna reflect a color that is unnatural. So the photo is the first thing that you wanna do and you want to show me. You can take it head on. I need one head on, but if you wanna go to the side and show me maybe if you're dealing with some skin concerns, like this is not as noticeable when I'm looking forward as it is to the side, you're welcome to send that over to me. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna address that undertone, which is that lightest shade that pretty much never changes. Skin tone, generally speaking, it's this shade like right here on me, the area on my forehead, and my skin tone changes based on how much pigmentation I have from the sun. And then there are overtones. Overtones are the typically excess color that we see in the skin. This is an overtone, this is an overtone, the scarring is an overtone. For some people, it's a lack of tone, okay? I will address them all based on what the skin concern is and the goal is, but we are going to address your overtone, which most people skip, and we are going to do that through a process called color correction. So when you get your color match, you're gonna see a picture like this. It's gonna have blue dots on the face addressing the excess or lack of color in the skin that we want to color correct. You're going to have an all over foundation shade that most closely matches your skin tone. And then lastly, we're gonna talk about brightening, which takes into consideration your undertone. We wanna brighten the center of the face with a lighter shade. I typically go 2 shades lighter in depth from your main highlight shade so that you have a brightening effect without an exacerbation of texture on the skin. You're getting after the video, Sami, as I'm finishing the other side of my makeup because I'm trying to remember if I said this, and if I didn't, I wanna make sure that I add it in later. So I want you to remember, as we age, we always wanna err on the side of going darker over going lighter. So when you look at your color match and you're like, man, those colors feel a little bit darker. If I have to make a choice between something that's going to be a little too light or a little bit darker, I'm always going darker because darker doesn't exacerbate texture. Things that are too light emphasize our texture. And most of the time, that's the last thing we want. That's also why we color correct first. That is a very specific thing to Seint's Makeup. Coverage is built in thin layers, addressing darkness first. That is how you get the best longevity and wear time. It's just one of the nuances of this makeup. Okay, back to the video. Let's pick up my personal palette and here's what I'm gonna show you. When you get a color match, you're gonna get a picture that looks like this. Those blue dots on your face are targeting your overtones, the discoloration, the concerns that you tell me that you want to correct. We are gonna take a very little amount on the tip of the brush, and the first thing we are going to do is we are going to buff, okay? We are buffing this onto the points of the face where we have color concern, which I will mark in blue based on what I can see. But the fact is, you know your skin best. It changes every day, and you will be able to work with changes in your skin tone even on the daily once you understand how to color correct. This is the hardest part for people because it takes a little bit of playing. It takes a little bit of understanding how much you want. But do you see? I'm just tapping the tiniest amount on the top. Here's what I'm not doing. I'm not rubbing the brush on it and going like this, which I know is typically how people think of foundation, right? When you take something like a skin tint, okay, and you put it on the back of the hand and it's this liquid formulation, and then you take a brush, you apply it like this, right? That is not the best way to apply this. You're not going to get the finish that you're looking for. It's gonna feel heavy. It's a different formulation than a liquid. So if you're accustomed to like this, that's just not the best way to apply Seint. I told you that we would use this side for comparison's sake, so let's wipe that off. Really, the best way to apply this is with a little bit on the tip of the brush in these smaller areas, and I'm kind of feathering this or I'm buffing it. I wanna work it into the texture that I have, the wrinkles. I wanna work that product onto that top layer of the skin. Here's something to know. While it's going to feel like it has literally melted into your skin as if you are like melting an ice cube on a countertop, the actual like compound of this makeup is too dense to get into your pores. So when people say it melts into the skin, it does not. It melts on the top layer of your skin, which is what you want it to do. You don't want this in your pores. You don't want this getting past that layer. And it now acts as a second skin. So it's going to hold in moisture throughout the day, which is awesome if you are used to a liquid foundation where your skin feels like really dry throughout the day. This is different than that. So right now, this is where I would have the blue dots on my face if I was looking at the side. I have a lot of color correction. Darkness under my eyes, redness on my cheeks, all of this acne scarring, a dark chin, dark under my nose, and I have a scar on the top of my nose. So that would be step one. And you'll see the difference in the excess of color on this side, my under eye, versus this side. Now, I'm somebody who wants my makeup to look like skin. I am not worried about completely removing like the visual of every imperfection that I have, but I do want to greatly diffuse them. You will also notice that this is more orange. This is my color corrector. It is not meant to match my skin. This combination is what will match my skin. Now I'm gonna go in and I'm just going to press on a little bit more anywhere else that I have color concern, just to build it up. This is totally buildable. That's why you can get the most lightweight up to like a really nice medium full coverage without it ever being like heavy, cakey, or tacky. If you do layers, starting with color corrector, main shade, brightener, it is almost always going to feel very cakey, and you're still gonna get inadequate coverage if you go in with a very dense brush and like wipe this on the face to try and achieve full coverage without a color corrector. Most people who do that just don't like it. I also want to clarify, because as I'm looking down at my brushes, this is what all of our brushes look like. This needs to be cleaned, but they have this finish on them. These are my original brushes from 5 years ago. Brushes matter. If you're going to invest in the makeup, invest in the correct tools in order for it to apply the way that it's meant to apply without product getting deep down into the bristles. Like, you want to get the brushes. It's like painting a house with the wrong type of roller or paintbrush or whatever it is, and then blaming the paint. You want to get the right tools to get the right finish. When you get started with me, I'm going to make a recommendation to almost everyone that you start with these two brushes. Again, they won't look like this, they'll look like this. This is the detail brush. This is the blush and bronzer brush. I recommend that you use this end for small areas for color correction and this end for larger. Like, I could have done that right here. Like, I could have tapped into the product and buffed this in much more quickly, but I was chitty chatting away. However, my favorite brush to color correct with is the blend brush. This is the blend brush. This is what I was just using. These ends are very, very similar. The difference is a little bit of the density of this one. I prefer more. Now, I don't want to recommend you 3 brushes to get started with, and you can get the same outcome with this end. I just prefer this one. So if you're in the market down the road to pick up another brush and you'd like to have an even easier time with color correction, this one does a great job. The other one that you may want to take a look at as well, if you are somebody who's dealing with acne or acne scarring, is the spot brush. This does a really nice job of pinpointing. We really want to put our color corrector only on the excess color that we're trying to color correct. We don't want to put it all over. Yes, it's okay if you're buffing it and it kind of gets into, the areas around it, but you'll see I didn't put any color corrector here because I don't need to. And I don't want to change this skin tone. Why? Because it doesn't need it. I'm color correcting excess color to bring it back to the level that I want it to be, which is really close to this. I don't want to add a color to my skin that I don't need. So, take that for what it's worth. These are the two brushes. They will get the job done to do everything that you want, including contour, blush, bronzer, all the things. Blend brush, spot brush, great brushes to pick up for those that want like a little bit more specific color correction tools. Moving on to the next step that you're gonna see in the color match. So first we went after the blue dots on the face. Now at the top of the color match, you're gonna see this diagram right here. This is the general Seint face. Like this is where you would put the colors if you were doing it all in one layer and you weren't using color corrector. It comes next to like the list of what your shades are, just so that you can understand the makeup. When you scroll down, you'll see your face with blue and yellow. But generally speaking, this is your overall tone. I don't mark that on your individual face map because that would literally go all over. So as you're referencing your color match, just know that your main highlight shade, step 2 after color correction, is all over. And what we want to do is pounce. As I had said before, this is not meant to be put on with this motion like a liquid foundation is. It's also not meant to be smeared or smudged after you've put down a color corrector. Remember, we put our color corrector exactly where we wanted it. The last thing we want to do now is buff this or move this around. We now want to press or stipple our main highlight shade over top of everywhere that we color corrected and the rest of our face. So now we're bringing back everything to matching. Again, this and this in combination matches more of this. Brightener, I'm going back to the blend brush. You can absolutely use the small end of the detail brush. And I am over exaggerating this so you can see it. But do you see I have this eye bag here? I'm gonna start right underneath that because here's something to know. If it blends, it extends. So as this makeup starts to warm up on your skin, it is going to like blend out again, going back to the ice cubes on a countertop, it's going to start to blend and all of your colors are gonna have like seamless lines. But because the under eye is a highly textured area for me, I don't go up all the way to underneath the lash line. I go a little bit underneath, starting here and here, and then I blend it all together, knowing that it's gonna blend up into that area kind of on its own. And now I can pick like my level of brightness. My undertones are typically a little more neutral white. So I have a brightener that is only 2 shades less than my main highlight that has a white with a little bit of a yellow base to pull all of that together. And this is how we start to create dimension on the face. So I have now brightened my under eye, different than a concealer. We concealed our darkness with our color corrector. We matched our skin tone with our main highlight shade. Now we're just adding brightness to the center of the face so that when people look at us, they're drawn to this portion of our face. Contour will help with that as it will chisel and cause this to recede. But that's the purpose of highlight and contour, is to really draw the eye to the center of the face so that when people are looking at you, they're looking first at your eyes and your smile and things like that. Other areas that we like to brighten are the T-zone. I like to go a little bit up here. This will be the yellow part on your face map. By the way, you will brighten where you see yellow and it will be specialized to you. So for me, we're going T-zone, okay? In between here, here, and here, which most people have on their color match. Here and here, you'll see yellow. You'll see like a V here and then down here. Now, you may also have line drawn here, which I need right now. And why do I need that? Because my preference is not to look like my head is floating. And right now, because I self-tanned my face, and I did not self-tan my body, my face is darker. So while my skin tone, generally speaking, is pretty good, pretty matching, I want to match my neck and chest. So I have two options. I can add brightener to my jawline, or I can add bronzer to my neck and chest, or you could do both. So I'm gonna take my brightener and I'm gonna go back to my blush and bronzer brush, and I'm just gonna add a little bit to my jawline to lighten that up. And now we don't have that contrast anymore. And again, because all these shades are cream and they all play so nicely together, you can assess as you go. I really don't even need bronzer down my neck anymore. Now everything flows really well. But what I will say is my makeup looks heavier than I want it to, and that's okay. You will get better longevity with this makeup or any makeup when you do thin layers and build them than if you go in with a thick layer to start. How we combat that is with our perfector sponge. This is my damp perfector sponge beauty blender. It is damp and cold, but it is not wet. And what it does, this is specific to Seint. If you have a beauty blender and you wanna try it, you can go for it. But a lot of beauty blenders are meant to apply liquid foundation. This is meant to remove excess cream. So what it does is, first of all, it seamlessly blends everything together, but it also removes that heaviness where I was too heavy-handed. And I was heavy-handed intentionally because I wanted you to really be able to see the color on screen. I wouldn't naturally go that heavy-handed to begin with, but the point is, this will save you from a heavy hand of makeup. Like, do you see how much excess it took off? Now, if it's soaking wet, it's not gonna work. If it's dry, it's gonna pull your makeup off. You wanna run it under cold water, wring it out, put it in a microfiber cloth and let it sit here while you do your makeup, and then pounce it over top when you're done. And now, look how nice that looks. If I ever pull off too much, then I could go back, I can assess. Maybe this is my spot that I contend with. That's my dark spot that I contend with all the time. This is just my color corrector, tap, tap. I'm also getting a little bit of changing light because, you know, I'm in Cleveland and 1 minute it's light and the next minute we're raining. But there we go. This will help prevent creasing under the eye because I'm gonna remove any excess. It is literally a gem, but it is your fail safe. It's what allows you to not have to be worried that you're going to apply too much. You can always use this. And I recommend, if you are layering, which if I am color matching you and you have skin concerns, you are likely going to be doing. That is it, my friends. I have no idea how long I talked. I told myself I was going to keep it under 20 minutes. I feel very confident that I did not. Hopefully I can edit this down for you guys, but I just wanted to be able to give you an explanation of how you can get really nice finish and have your skin still look like skin. And we haven't even talked about how to set this, how to reduce glow, how to add glow. I'm strictly talking about how do I get the coverage that I'm looking for and still have skin that looks like skin. That's how you do it. And my color matches reflect that. It's my style of color matching because it's what I needed as a consumer. And I find that it just works better for people. So if you have questions, please let me know. If you need help with your Seint makeup and you need a color match, it's in the description box below. If you are new, understand that I am a teacher, as you can tell. My color match not only gives you your shades and your placement, but a description of how to place them on the face. And I have this whole YouTube channel full of videos explaining it, but I will personally send you a setting up your palette because all of this comes in one customized palette, how much or how little of your choosing, but I will send you a video on how to set that up, and then a initial application video so that you have I think it's 11 minutes, like start to finish, all the products. So it is proof that I can do it. And you will be able to go step by step with me as you're starting this makeup routine. So you have me in your back pocket. Thank you guys so much for being here. As always, if you liked today's video, I would love it if you gave it a thumbs up. Don't forget to turn on your notification bells so you never miss a thing. And we'll see you again next week.